So we have 19 FA Cup games involving a Championship club and 10 involving a Premier League club. Blimey, we've got a load of predictions to go through today. What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video of the channel. Of course, we've got no Championship this weekend, but we do have FA Cup round 3. So I thought I'd predict all the FA Cup games involving a Championship club, which is a 19 in total. And none postponed yet. Fingers crossed that we don't get any postponements later announced in the day. This is what the current Leicester Hall of Fame looks like. There's only been one change, which is myself. I managed to get the Manchester City and Manchester United game right in the Carabao Cup semi-final, which puts me on 40 points, joint second place now, closing the gap to that first place position. However, up to 29 points up for grabs for this weekend. A lot can change. If you guys like what you want to see more predictions in the future, please make sure to give this video a like, tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. It would really make my day. I would have FIFA 21's predictions for this, but unfortunately I don't this time. I couldn't because, let's just say I was a bit busy yesterday, and you guys will be surprised of what I managed to do yesterday coming in the next couple of days. So make sure you keep your eyes on this channel. But without any further ado, let's go through these weekend's games. So start off with the early FA Cup game starting on Saturday. We've got Bournemouth going up against Millwall. Bournemouth play in the National League. They're mid-table in the National League with 4 wins in a row. So Bournemouth are in fantastic form right now. They play a Millwall side where, in direct contrast, are not in a good run of form at all. Apart from their win at Preston, they've not managed to win since then. It's been a huge winless streak for Millwall, and they definitely need to pick it up and try and get some confidence within this game. One disappointing thing as well is that they didn't get Jason Malumbi. They've lost him out to Preston. It looked apparent with my transfer rumour video that I released in my last video that Millwall were going to be the more likely team to get him, but they couldn't get him, unfortunately. So bit of a blow there, but I think Millwall will just about get past Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth will be feeling a bit optimistic following their run of form, and they are at home, which could be key. I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory to Millwall. I think it'll be very, very close. Next up, we've got Everton going up against Rotherham. Couple of times these two sides have actually met in cup competitions, actually. And unfortunately, Rotherham don't have a strong record. Everton have a much stronger record head-to-head. Everton having a terrific season under Carlo Ancelotti. Definitely in their highest position than they have done, probably since David Moyes, actually. Everton have been known to be a pretty inconsistent side, but this season, they've been notoriously, just staying around in that top 4 race, which is fantastic development for Everton's part. Rotherham, I think their intentions will be to stay in the league, and I think this will result in a 3-1 defeat. I think Everton will win this game by 3-1 and make it quite comfortable. Next up, we've got Luton versus Reading. Now, both of these sides have actually played against each other twice, and they've actually already met in a cup competition in the Carabao Cup. It was Luton with an away win. They met each other again very, very recently, and it was Reading that managed to pick up a win in the end. So I'm definitely thinking that this game's going to be very close. One thing that's worth noting in the FA Cup as well, because of COVID, there's going to be no replays. If it's a draw, it's going to go straight to extra time. And I think this will happen in this game. I think it'll end 1-1. And I think Reading will win in extra time by 2-1. I think this will be very, very hard to separate these two sides. Next up, we've got Norwich versus Coventry. Another two sides who have played against each other very recently. It was a 1-1 draw. Norwich throwing away a very, very cruel lead. And Coventry managing to get a point in the end by Maxime Biamou, getting an equaliser in the final few minutes of the game. And I think this game will be just as close as well. And you know what? I'm actually going to predict it by the same scoreline. I think 1-1, which was the Championship result. But in extra time, I think Norwich will have a bit more in them to get them over the line. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Norwich after extra time. Next up is Nottingham Forest versus Cardiff. Now, this game, I don't see many goals in. Nottingham Forest doing pretty well in their run of form at the moment, not beaten in their last 5 games. So they're definitely having a bit more consistency in terms of not losing games. Cardiff right now, I mean, you just don't know what you get with Cardiff. A bit erratic in my opinion. And I think we'll get an erratic result in this game. Obviously, both these sides played against each other recently. Cardiff with a 2-0 away victory near the beginning of the season. And it was showing signs that Sabri Amucci was going to really lose his place as Nottingham Forest manager. But with this game, I think we're going to see the progression that Chris Hughton has made. I'm going to say a 1-0 victory to Nottingham Forest. I don't think there'll be many goals in this game whatsoever. Next up is Chorley going up against Derby. Now, there were severe doubts that this game was going ahead because the first team squad of Derby and Wayne Rooney as well all cannot attend for this game for safety reasons. So Derby are going to have to field a full team of youngsters against this Chorley side. It is the lowest ranked side playing against a Championship club foe. They play in the National League North Chorley. Just like Bournemouth, they're in the mid-table position, but not as strong as form as Bournemouth are. With this game, I think it'll be tight. I don't think there's much that we can really bear from this game. I think with the full squad, Derby could dismantle Chorley quite easily. No disrespect to them. I think with the youngsters, it's going to be a bit more daunting, but I think they can still limp over the line. I'm going to say a 2-0 away victory. I don't think it's going to be a really comprehensive game for Derby, in my opinion. Next up is Blackburn versus Doncaster. This one I'm quite intrigued to see the results of, because Doncaster this season, we've seen it most seasons with Doncaster, they tend to be a side pushing to try and get into the top 6. They have fallen off a little bit, but to be fair to them, they consistently stay in or around the race. And I think they will definitely give Blackburn a fight. Blackburn has kind of a sense that, you know, maybe with the squad players they've got, they've underachieved a little bit this season. In the FA Cup, this could be a fantastic opportunity for players that may not have been able to get a start to have their say and to want to start for the first team squad. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Blackburn. I think it'll be very close. Doncaster are notorious for being giant cup killers as well. I think they knocked out Preston a couple of years back, and they could definitely do so with another Lancashire club in Blackburn. But I think Blackburn will just about edge this one. I'm going to say 2-1. Next up is Exeter going up against Sheffield Wednesday. Exeter, League Two side I know quite a fair bit about. Know them more specifically for knocking out my beloved Colchester side, denying them a place in the playoff final. Yet that they lost out in the playoff final themselves. So unfortunately for Exeter's part, they're going to have to spend another season in League Two, and they do play like a side that is way too good for League Two. I know they've not been as convincing this season, but they've still got the same qualities there in that squad. Sheffield Wednesday obviously still without a manager, and now that they're outside the bottom 3, I think their priority this season is definitely going to have to stay in the league. You know, Sheffield Wednesday are going to have to be very careful that they don't overdo their schedule. And because of this, I'm actually going to predict the first upset to be with this game. Exeter have managed to knock out some pretty tough opposition in cup competitions before, and I think this will not be a bridge too far for them. I'm going to say a 2-1 home victory to Exeter. I think it'll be really close actually, and Exeter definitely have the capability of knocking anyone out on their day. And for me, I think the first upset, I'm going to give it to Exeter for how they play their squad, and I think Sheffield Wednesday's priorities would be elsewhere, in my opinion. Let's look at Oldham versus Bournemouth. Oldham looked really dead and buried near the start of the season, but to be fair to them, they have picked up their results a little bit. I believe they have Harry Kewell as their manager, of course a former Liverpool player as their manager. Bournemouth right now, of course, they're fighting for top 2 places. They've got a ridiculous squad, and I think they'll be able to get a result from this game. I'm going to say a 4-0 away victory. I think Bournemouth will feel quite comfortable and confident with this game. No disrespect to Oldham, but I do think their priorities will lie in making sure that they stay in a reasonable position still in League Two, because I don't think, even with them picking up a couple of good results recently, that they are completely safe from the drop. Let's look at Queen's Park Rangers versus Fulham, a West London derby. So I'm really intrigued to see the result. And actually, Fulham's next game is against another West London side in Chelsea. So Fulham don't have to travel very far for their next 2 games that they have to play. And with this game, I think this would be really close. Fulham, of course, aside, you know, they are in the bottom 3 in the Premier League, but they have shown in their performances that they are not necessarily giving up without a fight. Definitely have got more faith in them surviving the Premier League than I do with their other recently promoted side in West Brom. Queen's Park Rangers have been in a little bit of free fall, just not scoring enough goals. If they can score some goals against Fulham in this game, then maybe that they can have a little bit more confidence. But I'm going to say this game will end 1-0 Fulham. I don't think there'll be many goals actually. I think this will be quite a tight and cagey game. And I think Fulham, maybe under Tom Carey or someone, finding just enough quality just to have one moment of brilliance. And I think that is how Fulham will win it. I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory to Fulham. Next up, we've got Stevenage going up against Swansea. Stevenage, another side that is quite notorious for knocking out some really tough opposition. But Swansea also do love a good cup run now and again as well. And they will definitely want to be doing better than what they have done in the Carabao Cup, because Swansea did get knocked out in the Carabao Cup first round. Now, that could be an approach from the manager. You know, maybe he doesn't really want to take up competitions too seriously, but surely against the Stevenage side, where they are in or around the bottom half of the League Two table, that Swansea can get past them. I think it won't be really comprehensive. I think it'll be tight. I'm going to say a 2-0 away victory to Swansea. It'll be pretty close though. Swansea, with the squad they had, they should be able to go through. Next up, we've got Stoke versus Leicester. A pretty daunting task for Stoke. You know, they faced two pretty tough Premier League sides at the Bet365 stadium. Of course, they played against Spurs quite recently, and now they are playing against Leicester. And I think both will equally have a really tough test for them. They'll be really tough to break down, but of course, trying to make sure that they can win the game and score more goals than them as well. It's not going to be an easy challenge as well, because Stoke, whilst they have scored more goals under Michael O'Neill, they have not scored many goals recently. And with this game, I think Leicester do love a cup run as well. In the past few FA Cup tournaments, the most notorious place that they tend to finish is around the quarter-finals place. And I think they will have a cup run this year, Leicester. So I'm going to say a 3-1 away victory to Leicester. Stoke could definitely surprise people. They can definitely put up a fight. I'm not saying that they're going to be blown away. Even Stoke could win. You just don't know if it's Michael O'Neill's side. But I'm going to say Leicester just because of the squad, and I think they'll go on a cup run. Next up, we've got Wycombe going up against Preston. Of course, both these sides have played against each other, but the other time that they did play against each other was at Deepdale, ending 2-2. And I think this will be just as close, if not even closer in this game. I'll be very interested for Preston if they do use their new signings, Ched Evans and Jason Malumbai. I mean, Malumbai is a good signing. Ched Evans, I mean, we don't really need to go with Ched Evans. He's someone who has scored 10 goals for Norwich in the Championship and 13 goals in 2 seasons for Sheffield United in over 60 appearances. He's not a prolific Championship striker, and all of this happened 10 years ago. So I don't have a lot of faith in Ched Evans that he's going to be replicating many goals, but he is an option in the end of the day. I think this will be 1-1 in 90 minutes, but I think Preston may get the goal that puts them through into round 4 after extra time. It'll be heartbreak for Wycombe, but I think that is what will happen in this game. Now go to the slightly later games. So we've got Brentford going up against Middlesbrough. I think it'll be very close. Obviously, both these sides played against each other very recently as well. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Brentford. I know they played quite recently as well. They played against Spurs in midweek. They did lose out by 2-0, but they were very unlucky not to get more out of this game. Ivan Toney had a very harsh goal disallowed, where if it was given, it could have changed the game completely. And with Middlesbrough as well, could offer a challenge, but I think Brentford would do just about enough. I'm going to say 2-1 Brentford. Huddersfield and Plymouth now. You know what? I see many goals in this game. Plymouth doing pretty well, actually, in terms of being promoted to League One. They've been doing a little bit better than I expected them when they were promoted, actually. Definitely not doing the worst out of the promoted sides from League Two to League One. I'm going to say a 4-2 victory to Huddersfield. Plymouth can score plenty of goals, but so can Huddersfield. So I'm hoping to see an absolute goal fest in this game. So I'll say 4-2 Huddersfield. We now got Manchester United going up against Watford. It'll be a very interesting test for Watford, actually, to see how they compare to a team in form right now, which is Manchester United. Although having said that, they did play in midweek and they did lose out to Manchester City. They were pretty second best in all departments. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did get it wrong. But with this game, I think Man United will be quite comfortable, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I think we'll see the gulf in quality, especially in terms of an attacking sense. Manchester United as a counter-attacking team are very dangerous, and I think Watford would definitely struggle with that. I'm going to say a 3-0 victory to Manchester United. I think also trying to fill in the gap for Etienne Capoue, who has just left Watford to join Villarreal. It will take a little bit of time for them to get some defensive stability. Next up is Barnsley going up against Tranmere. Tranmere, renowned of being quite a cup killer. They knocked out Watford, who were at the Premier League at this time in this stage last year. I think Barnsley will definitely be a tough test for them. And Barnsley, you know, you can't underestimate what squad they have. I think they'll definitely go for it. I'm thinking of a goal fest in this game too. I'm going to say 3-2 Barnsley, but there's something about Tranmere, you know. They could definitely shock a couple of people. I'll just edge Barnsley for this one. Bristol City and Portsmouth now. Portsmouth, this will be a fantastic opportunity for them to show why they want to progress to the Championship. They're doing fantastically well in League One right now. They've got to make sure they don't slip away a little bit. If they keep consistent, they're definitely in my opinion, one of the biggest sides in League One. If they just keep their consistency, then Portsmouth can most definitely get promoted under Kenny Jackett. I'm going to say 1-1, and I'm going to say this is going to be the one game going into a penalty shootout. I'm going to say Bristol City win by 3-1 on penalties. That is what my prediction will be with this game. I think this is the tightest game to call, if I'm going to be honest with you. And then the final game involving the Championship club, Manchester City and Birmingham. Birmingham not doing tremendously well right now, sliding down the table. Manchester City will be in such a high, making to the Carabao Cup final. They don't have many squad players though. They've got a lot of players not fit due to COVID. But despite that, I think Manchester City will be quite comfortable. They faced a Championship side last year, well, then Championship side at least, Fulham, which they managed to beat by 4-0. And I think that will be the repeated result for Birmingham. I think Manchester City will win this game by 4-0. But that is all 19 predictions. Blimey, that was a marathon to get through all of that. Now let's go through the remaining FA Cup games involving a Premier League side. So we'll start off with Aston Villa Liverpool. Obviously the rematch, the last time they played against each other, it was 7-2, a manic result for Aston Villa and a fantastic one at the time. But this game was put in doubt, and we've just heard today that the game is planning to go ahead. Maybe a little bit risky. I'm going to say a 3-2 victory to Liverpool. Wolves and Crystal Palace, I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Wolves. I think this will be very, very close. Then to Saturday's games, we've got Blackpool and West Brom. Why do I think they could be an upset? I was thinking 2-1 Blackpool, but I've changed my mind and put 2-1 West Brom. But I think it'll be very, very close. Bristol Rovers and Sheffield United. I smell an upset here. I think Sheffield United will want this time to not really have any other game on. I think they want to concentrate on trying to stay in the league. You know, I think it's a little bit past this point now, but I think all of their time and dedication will be on trying to stay to the Premier League. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Bristol Rovers, who seem to be doing all right in terms of their league position at the moment, so I'll back that. Burnley and MK Dons. 2-0 Burnley. I don't see many goals in this game. Arsenal, Newcastle. Arsenal just love this competition to bits, so they'll take it seriously. I'm going to say 4-0 to Arsenal. Chelsea Morecambe, right. We should win this game. We should win this game. The last time we played a League 2 side was last year against Grimsby Town in the Carabao Cup, which we did win by 7-1. And at that time, we were in a poor run of form as well. I'm going to say 5-0. I don't think we're going to score as many goals, but I think we should win this game. If we can't beat Morecambe, then Frank Lampard might as well pack up and then leave, because there's no way Abramovich will allow him on the bus home after that. But then we've got Crawley and Leeds. I'm going to say Leeds going to score a couple. I'm going to say 5-1 Leeds. Marine and Tottenham Hotspur. Big game for Marine. You know, they're the lowest ranked side left in the competition. It's an unbelievable story that they've made it here. However, I think Tottenham will win 7-0. I'm sorry, Marine. And Newport and Brighton. Newport, notorious cup killer. Therefore, I'm predicting a shock result. 2-1 Newport. But that wraps it up for today's video. 29 games I've predicted in this game. So if you get any right, of course, your comment will be included and you will be given a shout out, and you'll be on the Lexus Hall of Fame with a couple of points by your side. If you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. It would really, really make my day. And if you've done, please share my channel to as many people as you can. All of that would really make my day. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care.